feet. Just get this set up. All right. All right, awesome. Let's see, we're live, and we're live. Perfect. All right, so welcome everybody. It is the show live. We are here in Kissimmee. I am Sean, your host, and we are basically doing this show every single weekday. We're trying to do it around noon. Sometimes it happens a little bit after that, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to have this every single day. We're educating people on medical marijuana, not only in Florida, but just in general. That's what our goal is, okay? Now, what I want to talk about today is something that's even affects me. It affects over 60 million people in the United States, and that is insomnia. All right. Now, if you've ever had trouble sleeping, you know how hard that is and how annoying that is, and how many different facets of life that it actually affects. So before I jump into that, I want to make sure that you guys are following us on all the platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. All right, making sure you guys are listening to us in the car ride on the way home or on the way to work. We're on iTunes, we are on Spotify, we're on Google Play, we're everywhere, okay? Because we want to help you guys. And if you guys are following us, take a screenshot, then come on in to the Kissimmee location, and you can go ahead and get your own t-shirt. All right, I got the white one on today. Sometimes I'm wearing the black. I prefer the black one. I just like the black. All right, but yes, go ahead and follow us. Make sure that you're asking questions, you're interacting with us, because then that lets us know we are doing our job. We've had a lot of questions today actually about whether or not we can get flour. You can indeed get flour. All right, you just need your separate script from our doctors, okay? Doesn't matter if you've seen a doctor, in another office from Green Relief. Just make sure that you come back, you talk to us, you set up an appointment, and you get a different script, because it is different than your oil and tinctures script, okay? So you can get it. Make sure you come in. It's going to be $150 for your flour script. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. A lot going on today. Things change on the fly, and that's why we do this show. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back into the topic at hand today, and that is insomnia, trouble sleeping. Okay, now this is kind of a two-way, double-edged sword here, because a lot of people deal with insomnia. Like I said before, 60 million people are dealing with this. And it's just basically, it's having trouble getting to sleep or trouble staying asleep. And that's one of the most difficult things, because there are so many factors into getting a restful night's sleep. And with technology in the modern age now, it's tough to get away and disconnect and actually let ourselves sleep, okay? Now, again, what causes insomnia? Well, it's going to be different from each individual person, okay? Because when you really think about it, you can have so many different factors that are playing into just getting a restful night's sleep. First of all, one of them is coffee, okay? I am a coffee addict. I'm a coffee fiend. And I'm not gonna even try to hide the fact. I drink too much caffeine, but hey, so do most people, all right? So that's one thing that you can really start to cut down on, and what causes a lot of restlessness is just too much caffeine. And again, that's a vicious cycle. If you're not getting enough sleep, then you're probably going to be tired when you wake up, and you're gonna need to caffeinate. Now, one thing that can also affect this is certain types of medications, okay? Because I know certain medications will definitely play into effect on how you're feeling throughout the day, especially some prescription drugs. Like we had Randall the other day. He was talking about how he was totally affected. His mood was altered just based on the amount of medication that he was taking. It was changing his entire life and his entire personality just based on that. So it's a good idea to make sure that you're checking if you are on prescription drugs, prescribed by your doctor. Make sure you are talking to them and asking them if that's going to affect your sleep at all. Okay, and again, if you are in pain right now, trying to get to sleep is something that's going to be a tricky task at hand. My dad, for instance, that was in here on Tuesday. Yes, Tuesday. He has excruciating lower back pain, and so trying to get into some kind of comfortable position while you are trying to sleep with lower back pain or any pain in general is going to hinder that, and that's going to wake you up as well. Okay, so it just depends. And if you have apnea, and if you have allergies, if you are sick, all of these different things play into sleep. Okay, now the amount of sleep that you get is going to vary by your age. Some people they think they can run on little to no sleep at all. I don't know how they do it. I need at least 7 hours, or I feel like I'm dead to the world. Okay, that's just how it is. Now, the National Institute of Sleep, they suggest, if you're younger in your 20s, you need a little bit more sleep, maybe 7 to 9 hours. That's what they're saying. As you age, but it typically doesn't really go down too much. 7 hours seems like the bare minimum that the Sleep Institute recommends. That's just what they recommend and their studies have seen. Okay, let's see. Afternoon. Waskisum. Hey, how's it going, man? Sorry, we're just on Facebook Live here, going through. All right, now, so insomnia. All right, there's a lot of things that you can do to basically combat all of those things with medical marijuana. Okay, and that's what we're basically concentrating on today is how do we fix this the natural way, not have to get onto some kind of sleeping pill or anything like that. Well, the first thing that you got to remember is that you want to make sure that you have a strain, and I'm going to go over a bunch of strains that have this, and I'll describe what they do and the names. So when you go in and you get your script for smokable flower, you can have these and you can look them up and you can get those strains. Okay. One thing that you have to remember is you want to make sure that you're not getting sativa. Okay, so your sativa, remember, is basically from the head up. That's the best way I can describe it. If you are smoking that's going to be more of an uplifting high. Now, that's typically going to have, depending on the strain, it's going to have a higher amount of THC. Okay, so you're going to have that euphoric effect. The more THC you have, the more high you can get. Okay, so THC is your tetrahydrocannabinol. All right, that's the chemical compound that makes you high. Now, sativa is designed for things that are going to be more uplifting. So if I was going to go work out, or I was going to go do some yoga, or maybe a hike, then I would choose a sativa a sativa strain. That's not exactly what you want to do if you're trying to fall asleep. All right. Now, you want to choose something that's going to be leaning towards an indica base. Okay, so your indica is more of a body high. Okay, now some hybrids, and I'll break this down in a little bit, will actually give you a little bit of both, with some leaning towards more of the indica. Okay, now if you do have anxiety, which can cause a lot of insomnia or restlessness, you don't want to have something with a lot of THC in it, because that's going to increase the amount of anxiety that you have. Especially if you're just sitting down, you're closing your eyes, trying to get sleep, you're going to basically keep those thoughts running through your mind, and you're going to have that increase in anxiety. So that's not going to help your sleep. Okay. Now, the CBD is what's really key. Okay. Now, the CBD, remember, is not the ingredient that keeps you high. That is just cannabinol. That is that's what I talked about yesterday, and how they extract CBD oil from the the marijuana plants. All right. If you have more CBD, that means it's going to be more of a relaxing sensation, and you won't have that THC running through you, and that's going to cause maybe a little bit more anxiety. You still will have a decent amount of THC in some of these strains, but you're not going to be as, again, it's not as sativa, it's not uplifting, it's not bringing you up and out for something that's going to be more of an activity-based strain. All right. So now, we also want to make sure that when we take these, any kind of strains that we're using, whether that's Tahoe, OG Kush, or Granddaddy Perp, and again, I'm going to get into those in just a minute, but if you're taking any of those, you got to remember, if you're just going to smoke a joint, or you're going to take some kind of vape and think that that's going to be the way to get you through the night, you have to rethink the way you're doing things. Okay, the best way to do it All right, so we talked about this actually a couple of times. All right, we talked about it with Randall, we talked about it with Dan, who was going through the back pain, and we also talked about it with Josie. Josie was the one who worked with doctors and in the dispensaries as well, which we'll be having her on tomorrow. So that'll be good. Make sure you tune in for that. But you want to make sure that you're choosing any kind of modality of how you take these so that it's going to give you the longest possible effect. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, you're probably going to take something along the lines of edibles. Okay, so your edibles, they take a little bit longer to digest. All right, and if you've ever listened to a Joe Rogan podcast, he will tell you how much better it is, how much better edibles are than just smoking a joint or just vaping. All right, it's hilarious. I highly recommend you look on YouTube and find that. He's got a couple clips that are really funny. But the onset time of smoking a joint or maybe taking a puff of the vape is very quick, okay? But because it's very quick, it's gonna go out really quick. I say quick, maybe an hour or two with a joint, and not that long with a vape, all right? So you wanna make sure that you plan things out so that you can fall asleep, but then you wanna stay asleep, okay? So what would be good is if you took maybe a little bit of a joint, took a few hits, or maybe your vape, took some hits just to calm yourself down, to feel that initially. Because if you're waiting for the edible to digest and really get its ingredients and the THC or the CBD into your system, you're going to be waiting for like an hour, hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. Okay, but the benefit of having both modalities, right? So maybe you vape, then you take your edible. All right, that would be, in my opinion, that would be the best way to do it, because you're going to feel the medication coursing through you from the vape or the joint or the tinctures, whatever you want to do, sublingual. Then, because it takes a long time for the edible to digest, you're going to get a good 6, 7, 8 hours of the edible actually coursing through you, and that's going to be the best way to do it. Okay, because you kind of overlap. All right, you don't want to just have to get up every couple of hours when you're sleeping to go take a hit of the joint or take a hit of your vape pen. All right, so remember, it's always those overlapping things. Now, a couple of suggestions too. I would make sure that just because you are doing this, I would try to put your phone away. I would try to get off of Facebook or Instagram or YouTube, because I know for myself, if I'm going to be going to sleep, sometimes I get into those modes where I just go down an abyss of YouTube videos, and next thing I know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I need to be up in a couple hours. It's not good. You don't want to do that. Okay. Let me just take a second here and check. Perfect. All right, so no questions yet. And guys, if you do have any questions, please, I would encourage you to go ahead and ask. I'm on here. I'm looking at these. I've got the Instagram Live up. I've got Facebook Live, and I've got YouTube Live. And remember, if you have not gotten your script yet for smokable marijuana here in Florida, you need to do so. All right, we are accepting people now. Give us a call. We're right now, I'm at the Kissimmee location. This location's number is 407-572-8643. All right, and you can even email us, you can give us a call, you can message us on Instagram or Facebook. Whatever the case may be, we're always on here for you guys. Okay, now let's go over a couple of strains that are going to be good in order to get you guys to sleep and try to beat this insomnia, because I know how important sleep is. As somebody that was in the fitness space for a long time, sleep is when you start to recover. All right, you can recover from any kind of things that you're dealing with throughout the day, especially if you're working out. It's great to repair the muscle. If you are, let's say you're dealing with some kind of inflammation in the joints, sleep helps repair that. That deep sleep, that REM sleep is going to be very important. And when you're getting REM sleep is when you're dreaming. Okay, if you haven't had a dream that you can remember for quite a while, maybe you're not getting the best sleep. All right. So you're actually, in addition, if you're trying to lose weight, getting a restful night's sleep will help you lose weight as well. There are a lot of hormones in play. So I think it's ghrelin and leptin are two hormones, and those basically help you whether you're still hungry or you're satisfied or satiated. Those hormones are going to play a big role in losing weight, and sleep helps that. All right. All right, we got another hello. How we doing? In addition to that, you're going to have increased cognitive function. You're going to have increased alertness. Caffeine will only do so much for you. Okay, so it's important to get good sleep. And one of the first strains that leaf fly. So if you haven't heard of this is really cool. I'm on here right now, and I'm just referencing some strains that they suggest. You can search by, if you have back pain, or if you have fibromyalgia, you're going through cancer, you have any kind of digestive problems. It's really cool. It'll break everything down for you. It's called Leaf Fly. So Leafly. Okay, go ahead and look that up. So the first one that they have on here is a hybrid. All right. And they have little bars that'll kind of give you, basically a sliding scale of, whether it makes you hungry, if it's euphoric, sleepy, happy, or relaxed. They have sliding scales. And the first one, the Tahoe OG Kush, again, is your hybrid. And the relaxed is maxed out, okay? So that's a really, really good one. So if you want to feel relaxed, like maybe you're anxious or you're stressed out, that's a good one to have, okay? Your OG Kush, that's from Tahoe. All right. So it says with effects that tend to be heavier than your average OG Kush hybrid, the Tahoe OG is a godsend for insomniacs. Okay, that's a huge one. All right, you want to make sure that you're getting this. So if you go into a dispensary today or tomorrow or this weekend, and you've got your script, and you're looking for smokable flower, you want to look for that OG Kush. All right, and if they have the Tahoe, then you're in better luck. Okay. Smoking or vaporizing this strain can yield fast-acting effects that let muscles relax, easing the need to roll around your blankets all night. Tahoe OG is also known for to slow racing thoughts so you can float asleep with a calm and peaceful mind. That's perfect, okay? So that goes back to the relaxed thing. If you're feeling a little bit of anxiety or stressed out, you're gonna feel a little bit more mellow and you'll be able to fall asleep, all right? Now, the next one that they have on here, and we went over this a little bit, is Granddaddy Purple. All right, so your Granddaddy Purple, that is a indica. That is all indica. That's something that you have to remember. Is if you're going into these dispensaries and the bud tenders, asking you what you're doing, just make sure that you are staying with indicas. We don't want a sativa right now. That's not what we want. All right. So the relaxed little bar is maxed out. That means that it's going to definitely keep you relaxed. All right, and basically the little description is, it would be a crime to leave this indica classic off any list touting the top sleepy strains. Not only is it easy to find, Granddaddy Purple is shown to exhibit high levels of sleepy terpene myrcene. Yes, myrcene. Sorry if I hacked that name. But you have to remember, because it is a higher CBD content, you're going to have greater amounts of terpenes, all right? And we talked about that. It's called the entourage effect. If you have more CBD with higher amounts of these these terpenes, they're going to affect the body in different ways. They're going to have, maybe something for inflammation, for definitely relaxation, for cognitive function. There's all kinds of things that these terpenes can do, and that's one of the main reasons right there. Granddaddy Purple is an indica with a higher amount of CBD oil, okay? That's why it's so good and it keeps you relaxed, all right? A favorite among patients whose pain keeps them up at night, this indica carries strong flavors of berry and grape that only sweeten the deal. I like the way they describe that, because you have to remember, if you are in pain right now, whether you're going through chemo treatment or cancer, or you have IBS, anything like that, So those CBD terpenes are going to be working together, and they're going to be solving any kind of problem that you have. All right, that's one of the biggest things is that, again, we don't want to go high in THC, because the higher your THC content, the more you're going to basically have a more anxiety, and that's going to keep you up. The CBD is the secret here, okay? Now, let's continue. We got a couple other ones. This next one is really good. It's called God's Gift, okay? Again, all of these are indicas, except for the first one. Tahoe OG Kush was a hybrid, but it leaned more towards the indica, okay? Again, the relaxation meter is maxed out here. Let's see. God's Gift is indeed a gift to insomnia sufferers. All that stress keeping you up at nights feels suddenly overpowered by a sure-footed sense of peace. Releasing the exhale with notes of berry and citrus still clinging to your tongue, you're soon to feel your mood lifts as your body sinks. Now, it's important to remember, again, that you are initially going to be using any kind of vape or some kind of fast-acting way of getting this God's Gift or Granddaddy Perp into your system. So if you prefer a vape or you prefer smoking a J at night, then that's good. But you're gonna have to have maybe capsules with with these strains or some kind of edible. Okay, that's the reason why is because when you ingest that, it's going to take a long time for that to be processed by your body. So it's going to slowly release overnight, and you're going to be able to not only fall asleep quickly because you just did the vape or the blunt, but then you're also going to have that edible running through you, so you can sleep really heavy at night. Okay, let's see. Let's keep this going. Okay, we got another indica. It's Afghan Kush. All right, this one is really maxed out on sleepy, but it's really it's a toss up between sleepy and relaxed. So that means it's going to definitely be putting you to sleep. The Afghani indicas are famous for the heavy body-focused effects. Afghan Kush, following in suit, is cherished for its ability to knock out pain, hush anxious thoughts, and anchor the body to one single goal, and that is sleep. Again, you have to remember that a lot of these at this point have been designed exactly for what they're meant to do. Okay, now you can have different variations of like the OG Kush had Tahoe, and I'm sure there's different variations of the Afghan Kush, but at the same time you have to remember that all of these are designed for exactly what they're doing. If it's an indica, more than likely it's going to be designed to bring you down. And it even said, let's see, it's cherished for knocking out its ability, to knock out pain and hush anxious thoughts. That's important to remember. You can, and I would definitely go to LeafFly and figure out what strains are going to be working best for you. But you have to remember, the people working in these dispensaries, doesn't matter where. I mean, if you go into Cetera or you go into Harvest, does not matter. You have to remember that you are unique in your situation. There's a reason why we go through a process to ask you your medical history with that physician's assistant or doctor, okay? Because the bud tender is not going to know exactly what you're going through. And especially if you have a complicated case, first of all, it's going to break HIPAA rules if they ask you what's wrong with you. But second, they are not qualified to tell you how to treat this. That's why you come here to the doctor's office, okay? The doctor's office is going to tell you, hey, listen, you need an indica and with this amount, and you should be doing this on a daily basis with X amount per time, dosages and frequency, everything like that. Because if the bud tender is telling you one thing and the doctor is telling you another, you're going to get confused, okay? So the bud tenders are there to help you to say, hey, listen, these are the indicas, these are the hybrids, these are the sativas, but they're not there to basically solve your problem. They're just literally a bartender, okay, at the dispensary, okay? So it's like, you have to make sure that you know exactly what you're looking for, and that's where we come in, okay? A green relief doctor will tell you exactly what you need, and then you just go to the dispensary to say, okay, this is it, I'm looking for this, all right? Now, I'll go through two more just so you guys can have a better idea of this. This one's really good, and I've tried Northern Lights before. So that's what it's called, is Northern Lights. And again, it's more so, it's just maxed out on the relaxation, and then it's definitely happy, euphoric, sleepy, and not that, doesn't make you that hungry, okay? Now, here's the description. Imagine yourself on a cold winter night, wrapped in a warm blanket as green lights dance above you. Let's see, I don't care. Here we go. This isn't altogether unlike the experience provided by Northern Lights Indica, an old school strain that has been lulling minds to sleep since its inception, since the mid 1980s. You'll get sleep with a heavy hand. Uses its high THC content to annihilate pain and insomnia. Cannabis novices should approach this potent strain with extra caution, paying mind to dose low and slow. Very important right there. You have to remember, some of these will have higher THC strains, okay? Now, if you are suffering from depression or anxiety or some kind of psychosis or anything like that, this particular strain may not be the best for you, okay? Because it has high THC, yes, you're gonna knock some of that pain out, but you're also probably gonna be running around in your own head thinking, I don't know if you're gonna be thinking about what you gotta do tomorrow, what happened today. Oh man, I totally look like an idiot in front of that girl I like. It doesn't matter. That Northern Lights is going to be very specific for somebody. It might be good for me, but it might be really bad for you, okay? And again, I've had Northern Lights before. I've used it. I think it's great. But again, now that it's saying that, I can definitely tell. I do get a little more anxious when I use it because it does have that high THC content. All right, so just be aware of that. Let me do one more. Okay, we got a hybrid on this last strain. It's called Ogre. Okay, Ogre, O-G-R-E. All right, so it is a hybrid. It's going to make you feel happy, definitely sleepy, but more so relaxed. Okay, so it's the sleep-inducing hybrid Ogre stomps out insomnia with ease. Sweet citrus flavors dance over the palate on the inhale, giving you senses, something to delight in as the sedative effect kicks in. That's really important. Okay, you're going to have different tastes and things like that, but again, just like it said, and that's why I recommend Leaf Fly, because if you don't have an idea of what you're getting, you just get some kind of indica provided by the bud tender. And that's, let me clarify, the bud tenders do have an important job. You definitely need a bud tender, but again, it's always good to make sure you have an idea of what you're getting into, because if you go in there and you say, hey, listen, I'm looking for Granddaddy Perp, Tahoe, OG Kush, Ogre, and then you say Northern Lights, and then you say, well, I'm gonna go ahead and try Northern Lights today. And you start freaking out, you can't go to sleep, and you're thinking, oh, I can't sleep. This indica doesn't work. No, it just has higher amounts of THC in it. Okay, Charles, will these be in stores soon? You have to. These are just a list, Charles, with some of the most popular indicas for insomnia. I would check with whatever dispensary you're going to go to. I would just say, hey, listen, I'm looking for insomnia strains. Do you have anything that would help me sleep and stay asleep? That's why I'm referring from Leaf Fly. Leaf Fly is really good because it's going to break down everything. Like it just gives you an idea of whether it's an indica, hybrid, or sativa, and then you can balance it out. Whether if you want to feel euphoric, uplifted, sleepy, happy, hungry, relaxed, like it lays everything out there for you. So Charles, I would definitely recommend you check out Leaf Fly. So Leafly, Leaf Fly. Really, really easy. Okay. So guys, I hope this basically gave you an idea of how to approach solving your insomnia or your sleep trouble with medical marijuana. Okay, it's very simple. You just have to make sure, Charles, no problem, man. Let us know if we can help you any more today. This is very, very, very important. Okay, because and I will have more on different conditions. We'll jump into a lot more because I think dedicating a show to each individual condition is definitely important. And you have to remember, even if you think you don't have a qualifying condition, I would encourage you to still come in. Okay. I had a question yesterday via Facebook. Somebody said, hey, I don't see my qualifying condition listed on the website. Should I even try? Yes, please come in, talk to our doctors, because that's very important. COPD, yeah, we'll talk about that. Everything. If you don't think you have a condition that's going to qualify for medical marijuana, you're probably wrong. Okay. I'm just going to put that out there. Come see us. We will help you walk through this entire process, because it's better to at least try and get help than to just assume that you're not going to get help and then you're still in pain. Okay? Because at the end of the day, whether you take action or not, your pain is going to be there. It's just a matter of time before it either breaks you down and you become more miserable, or you actually do something about it and you prevent it from happening again. So let us help you. That's what we're here for. Okay, guys? All right. So we will see you tomorrow. I'm going to have Josie on. Josie was a crowd favorite. She's a friend of the show. We love Josie here. And if you have any questions for her, she was actually working with doctors, helping them educate patients on medical marijuana and things that we're doing like this. And she was also working at a dispensary. Okay, so if you guys have any questions for her on either side, whether it's something about, hey, questions about the dispensaries and how the bud tenders are working and how the operations are, or if you have a question about doctor's offices and coming in, ask a question. Josie is going to be really knowledgeable about that. Okay, so we're going to be back tomorrow around the same time. I'm trying to do it at noon every day, and then Monday we'll have Carrie back. Carrie will be back, so we can have the man, the myth, the legend. Okay, so if you haven't followed us, please do so. Take a screenshot. You can get yourself a t-shirt for free. Just got to come into the Kissimmee location, show us photographic evidence, and you guys will be all set. Okay, I will see you next time. Stay medicated, Orlando, and we'll be back tomorrow.